I guarantee, no doubt in my mind, not a single person on Earth ever thought once in their life during Warzone 1, this would have been a little bit better if there were AI on the map. Literally, that was not a thought in anyone's mind ever, other than some lead at Infinity Ward have that idea. Know what the guys in charge of Fortnite are thinking? Let's create an Unreal Engine creative mode so players can do what? Whatever the they want. Let's make a no build mode because players have gotten too sweaty. What do we get in Warzone 2? Backwards. We don't even have the same UI features. No, we do have all the same bugs, all the same crashes we've always had, the same awful shadow ban system, and the same clueless, delusional, awful dog developers that have been here.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We've got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 315. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today I am joined by young Tanner, as usual.
Yeah.
Who's a tired little bud, or what?
Hit a yawn, yeah. Hit that little yawn, that yawn joint right there.
You've been watching too much Aiden Ross.
That yawn joint, yeah.
That yawn joint, yeah. So change it anyway. Welcome to the show. Today, we are talking about Warzone Ranked. Sort of. We'll get into that in a moment. But before we get into the episode, we do have a couple of announcements that we would like to talk about here. Not too many. First one is our annual Fuck April Fools announcement. We've done this every year since the... Excuse me.
April Fools guy.
I fucking hate April Fools. I've done this every year since this podcast started, and I'll never stop doing it. And that is to say this. April Fools is fucking dumb. It's cringe. You're not funny. It's not interesting. And it's the dumbest holiday, if you can call it that, on Earth. I don't understand where it came from. I hate it. And the biggest reason I think I hate it is because no one has ever done a good April Fool's joke before. Like, it's never happened. It's always the same dumb shit every fucking year. Some girl who streams on Twitch will say, "Oh, I'm pregnant. April Fools. Holy fuck, you got me. That's so goddamn funny, man." And all the other dumb shit people do. It bothers me so much because of how unfunny the April Fool's jokes are. So stop it. We will not be, nor will we ever participate in this dog shit.
You participated, buddy. I already fired off a tweet this morning, yeah. So my TL was full of just dog shit awful tweets that weren't funny, so I added to it as well. Yeah, we already fired off a tweet.
We did?
Yeah, we fired off a tweet.
I'm gonna have to change the password on that account. What did you say? I didn't see this.
Let me pull it up. Let me see what I wrote. I said Modern Warfare 2. I said Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 are fun and perfect video games that were designed solely based on feedback from the community. We are so lucky to have the absolute best game developers in the world working on future seasons of Warzone 2. Thank you, devs. See? It's got to be done, man.
No, I hate that tweet
The TL
so much.
had so many bad tweets. It had so many bad tweets that I had to fire one off. I didn't see a single funny April Fool's tweet, so I had to add to it.
I just read that tweet, and I still haven't seen a single funny April Fool's tweet.
Yeah, there are none. Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, just a reminder, if you're here live, don't believe anything. It's and also it's dumb, and I hate it. God, it bothers me. None of them are funny or interesting.
It was funny when you were like in middle school. Yeah, it's really lost its touch.
Yeah, if you're a child, April Fool's is cool. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm 31 years old. Anyways, with that out of the way, our our last Patreon episode. So it is the next month. All of our March Patreon episodes are officially live. They are up. As some of you may know, if you join the Patreon, you get access to all the bonus episodes we've ever done insta. So you don't have to worry about when you sign up. You'll get all the old ones whenever you do. Back to our announcements here. Our last Patreon episode, I don't know when my internet cut out precisely, so I'm going to start this over. We talked about the state of gaming, and we were talking about what games we've been playing, and we ended up talking more about Call of Duty than we expected to. But I have been playing, for example, a lot of Stellaris, which is a 4X game. It's very different than COD. It's not related almost at all. And I was talking about what is fun about that game to me. And then Tanner was talking about what other games he's been playing as well. Principally of which is Battlefield, which is a lot more like COD than Stellaris is. They're both FPS games, obviously. And what he enjoys and what's fun about Battlefield for him. And we kind of asked the question and explored the topic. What makes these games, for example, fun, where COD is not? And that's not to say I haven't been playing COD at all, because there have been times in this podcast where I just play the bare minimum because none of it's fun. In this case, currently, I do have a lot of fun playing Ashika Island. I still do play that, but that's kind of it. So my whole thesis was, what's really fun about like Stellaris is there is a PvE mode where it's not like multiplayer, you're not playing against other players. That's also like fun, and it's like casual because it's PvE. And COD does not have that right now. We used to have that, for example, with Zombies. Zombies, casual, PvE mode, that's fun. It had all three of those things. We don't have that anymore. And then on Tanner's end of things, Battlefield, that is a casual, fun PvP mode, which Call of Duty also doesn't have anymore. We used to have, for example, Ground War, which fit the bill for that. It was PvP. You could do multiplayer. You could play with your friends against other real-ass people. And it was fun because the maps were good. Most of them, I would say. And it was very casual because there was no very strict skill-based matchmaking, if any, in Ground War. The lobby sizes were too big to do it strictly. So the overall kind of point was, and we explore this a lot more in the episode, that, COD is lacking fun, casual game modes right now. Whether that is PvE or PvP, we don't have it right now. We used to have at some point Zombies, fun, casual PvE. We used to have Ground War. Or if you go even farther back, we used to have multiplayer, right? Before SBMM, multiplayer was the fun, casual PvP mode.
Well, we've always had SBMM according to that one dev. It's always been there, you know?
Oh, yeah, that fucking guy. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Even though there were dedicated hosted servers that people owned and joined on PC back in the day. But yeah, Call of Duty's always had it.
Yeah, exactly. You could join or leave whatever server you
hosted
want,
your own servers.
But there was SBMM, make that make sense. That's a great point. I wish I had brought that up. But
I think we did that one
right.
time we talked about it, yeah.
Maybe we did, yeah.
I mean, obviously, Twitter,
he's
at least just thinking
up.
Console, probably. He's probably only
Well, he's a
console.
dev, so, yeah.
He doesn't own a
obviously.
PC.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was the point of that Patreon episode. I thought it was a really interesting discussion. And again, we did talk about COD more than we expected to. So if you were kind of mad that it wasn't going to be COD related at all, it is quite COD related, actually. But we do also talk about Battlefield a lot and, not COD a lot. But what were your thoughts on that absolute bonus episode? Available at Patreon.
That COD's boring, yeah. That COD's super fucking boring right now. Yeah, maybe DMZ is the casual mode right now. I guess it is, huh? Could play some DMZ.
Yeah, but is it fun? That's the other thing.
That's the other thing. Yeah, it has to be casual. It has to be fun. Yeah.
It has to be casual and fun also.
Yeah, my big point that I've made a few times on here anyways, but it's that the movement in Battlefield feels a lot better. A lot more fluid, faster in general. It's quick. ADS speeds are good. You can slide, you can bunny hop. There's an operator that has a grappling hook, so you can get on top of shit real fast and do some flings. It has things that can make it fun, I guess, for the average player, and like COD just doesn't. Yeah, it's like if I want to level up the worst gun in the game, the F-TAC Recon, doesn't matter. I'm playing against kids in CDL uniforms sliding around the corner, using their whatever meta SMG they wanted to run at the time. So yeah, I think that's what it is. Other games you really can't play Call of Duty casually in 2023, it seems. That's how it always feels. It's based on your skill level, and for us, we get put in slightly higher than average lobbies, so it always feels the same like that. You're just always going up against the best players.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating and it's boring. Very quickly it becomes boring, so...
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to hear more about that conversation, patreon.com/thedropshot. As I said, you get access to all the bonus episodes. I really enjoyed that one. It was a little different than what we normally do, as was the State of COD episode. That was a lot different than what we normally do. But they've both been very well received by you guys. And we enjoyed recording them. So yeah, go check that out if you're a patron, or join if you're not. Last announcement quickly. We talked about in our last episode, Exclusive Ace made a video on sprint to fire attachments and how you can tune them for sprint to fire. And that makes the sprint to fire extremely fast, nearly instant, in fact, on like pistols, or at least one pistol, probably all of them. That has now been patched out. So like I said, only somewhat jokingly, but not really, in that episode, Exclusive Ace is an unpaid developer for Activision. How many times has it happened where Ace finds out something is working in some way, makes a video on it, and then literally the next day, it gets patched and fixed? It's happened on this podcast. Just things we've covered on the podcast. It's probably happened over a dozen times.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. All the time.
It's happened. Yep.
So when I tell you guys that the quality assurance team at Activision is a psyop, this is a prime example of what I mean.
Yeah.
If the sprint to fire weapon tuning was working better than intended, a QA team would have figured that out because they would have tested the feature. But there is no QA team. That's why you could get a 5 millisecond sprint to fire time on a pistol. Because there is no QA team, the quality was never assured on this topic. So anyways, Ace made a video on that sprint to fire. We talked a lot about it. All of that shit is gone now. So it probably does something. It probably does something still to weapon tune it for sprint to fire, but you're not going to be getting 5 millisecond sprint to fires anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure he will revisit that.
And the only reason they patched it is because Exclusive Ace made a video on it, because they didn't know it worked that way before the video.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. And then cool the other thing right now, the LTM is in totally normal BR or whatever, where it's what they did in Rebirth before, where you shoot at someone and then they float up in the air. Is like no gravity,
like zero
whatever.
Gravity, yeah.
Here's the fun part. They took out regular BR. That's replaced. I think all but BR solos is the only normal BR
Are you
mode.
serious?
And that sums up what is wrong with these developers. That's a great LTM to have. Throw it in there, have it be the top one, advertise it, say totally normal, it's just fun. To take out just the normal modes and this will be live for I think 3 total days. I think it'll be live until, I want to say they said Tuesday, or I guess it's Monday. So 2 more full days and you can't even play regular Mazra. That is what's wrong with this, with the devs. It's like, yeah, the LTMs are cool. I'm not going to play it. I don't care about that LTM at all. A lot of people like that. It makes fun content for some people. But for the whole weekend, that's your only option? What are you fucking thinking?
Yeah, you got to give us the regular option.
What are you thinking? They're so delusional. Give us the
regular option.
Delusional. Yeah. Clueless. Stupid.
And all the, again, all the devs are casuals at best if they play the game at all. That's why they didn't think to keep a normal mode in for people who actually care to play.
Yeah.
It's
there's
just
not many people
insane.
left playing anyways, so
that makes me mad that they took out regular. Yeah, that's really dumb.
Isn't that crazy?
Because I remember when Raven was in charge, they had a game mode called Totally Normal BR, but it was separate from BR.
I don't remember if it was, honestly. There was Totally Normal Rebirth, and I think that replaced Rebirth for a time where you couldn't play regular Rebirth. But yeah, I don't
know. It's still crazy. Yeah. But anyway, here it is, the jingle.
There's that little jingle. Patio, thanks for the Canadian 22, which is a number of dollars for sure. I don't know what that is. Thank you for the $2.95, Pat. We appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very much. And he asked, what about DMZ when you're talking about casual games? Yeah. Casual, maybe not fun.
Yeah, there's plenty of casual game modes in COD right now. There's just none of them are fun. No way.
12K watching Warzone this morning on Twitch? I've never seen it that low.
All right.
Damn.
Welcome to the show. Today, we are talking about Ranked Warzone, which is coming soon to a video game near you. Today, obviously, Ranked Warzone Prepisode, I think, is what we put on the announcements. We're changing our tack a little bit, but we're still going to be talking about Ranked Warzone today. So, our kind of original idea, or maybe, I don't know, an idea we have for a Ranked Warzone Prepisode is to talk about what our strategy will be going into Ranked Warzone to do well. In the same vein as when we did our Ranked Play multiplayer episode. And in that case, we pretty much knew everything about what Ranked multiplayer was going to be like. We knew the maps, we knew the modes, we knew most of the restrictions. And with that information, we did an episode about, okay, if you want to play Ranked multiplayer and do well, how should you prepare? Like, what game modes should you play? What weapons should you get used to using? What strats should you get used to, etc. And we will be doing that for Ranked Warzone, but we're not going to be doing that today. And the reason for that is fairly simple. We have a lot of unknowns with Ranked Warzone. So very much unlike before Ranked multiplayer came out. At this time, we don't know what Ranked Warzone is going to entail. Let me give you some examples. Will there be restrictions? So are you going to be able to use all the perks and all the guns and all the equipment you can use in Warzone normally right now? Will those transfer to Ranked? We don't know. It would stand to reason that there probably would be, because there are a ton of restrictions for Ranked multiplayer. Are there going to be restrictions for Ranked Warzone? We don't know. If there will be, what are those restrictions going to be? I have no idea, because there's no precedent. Because the precedent for Ranked multiplayer, of course, was CDL rule set. So we could just look at the CDL rules and what they ban or whatever, and be like, okay, that's probably what Ranked multiplayer is going to look like. But that doesn't, there's no Call of Warzone League, Call of Duty Warzone League. That doesn't exist. So we don't know what the restrictions will be, if any. Another question, for example, are they going to take out more vehicles? Will there be choppers in Ranked Warzone? I could see them leaving them in. I could see them taking them out too. Will there be strongholds in AI?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Will there be contracts? Will there be all the contracts? Etc.
What player counts? What modes?
Will the player count be the same? How big? Yeah, like, is Ranked going to be only quads? Is it going to be only solos? We don't know.
Will it be on Ashika? I've seen people tweeting about that lately now too, saying, God, I hope they have Ranked Ashika as well. So I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Wouldn't think there would be, but...
And to talk about preparing for Ranked, it's really important to know, is it going to be quads or solos? Because those are two totally different, like, preparation episodes, because those are totally different play styles.
Yeah.
And then also, how is it going to be scored? Because Ranked multiplayer is pretty easy. You win or you lose. and then there's like some dynamic scoring within that.
Yeah.
But it's not like everyone but first place team is going to lose rating. That's not how it's going to work. So how are they going to score it? So there are so many questions that we are not right now going to do a ranked Warzone prepisode in the same way we did a ranked multiplayer episode. We will be doing that episode eventually. And the only case in which we won't do that episode is if we don't find out how it works until it releases, which is possible. They could just not say anything and then drop it and say, here's ranked Warzone, here's how it works, go play. In that case, then we'll do an episode on like, first impressions, and then we'll do a strategy episode later, but it won't be prep, obviously. So instead, what we're going to do today is our very broad question, basically. What impact is the existence of ranked Warzone going to have on COD? What impact is it going to have on Warzone 2 and the franchise as a whole? And this is an important question for a lot of reasons that we're going to get into. Obviously, the player count, the viewer count, the interest in COD in general has been flagging. And there's been plenty of discourse on Twitter about that. And ranked Warzone, I think, is going to have a significant impact on that, but we're going to get into it. And another reason we want to talk about this, and it's very important for us personally also, by the way, because the more popular Call of Duty is, the more popular a Call of Duty podcast is going to be. So we would like it to the game to be as popular as possible, obviously. And we've been asking for ranked Warzone for fucking 2 years now. And not just us. We weren't the first people to come up with that fucking golden idea, because it's a no-brainer idea. So we're not the only people to have asked for this, of course.
Yeah, and they've waited till player counts are maybe at their all-time lowest to finally release it.
Of course. Yeah. Classic.
Too little, too late, as always, yeah.
Maybe. We'll get into it. But, that's, in other words, that's another reason why we're going to be talking about this, because we've been wanting ranked for so long. We want to talk about what impact we think it'll have. That's kind of the broad question we're exploring today. So we have a couple other little sub points. And the first one is a question about how it's going to work, because we can speculate on some things. We can speculate on what restrictions might be. We can speculate on how the scoring system and shit is going to work. So the first question is, how will the scoring work? How will the rank structure work? And how similar will it be to ranked multiplayer?
Yeah.
Because I think that is the best point of comparison. I think they're going to want to keep Warzone ranked as similar to multiplayer ranked as possible in terms of the structure, the scoring, the elo system, and all that. But a lot of it just doesn't carry over, so they're going to have to do something different. So what are your thoughts on this, Tanner?
Well, so when it comes to the structure, the good thing, the structure is already in multiplayer. So all of that, the UI and everything will probably be exactly the same. The rank names, I'm assuming, will be the same. There will be a top 250. Maybe for Warzone, it will be, maybe they would change that, top 500 or something, or make it slightly different. I don't know. Probably still top 250. I think all the rankings will be the same, yeah. My first question, though, is like, when we've played multiplayer ranked, what was one of the things we complained about? We would constantly, more often than not, be placed against people that were not even our rank. They were 2 ranks above us. They were 2 ranks below us. It would be rare when we were running to face another 4-stack or something that were also all the same rank as us. That was more rare than just being placed against random people. How the fuck are they going to be able to find 150 players in Battle Royale playing Warzone 2 in 2023 to put you in a similar lobby together based off your rank? It's not possible. It's really not. And that's making me wonder, like, either the whole rank will essentially be just for the thing next to your name, and it's like you won't even be playing against people that are your skill level, or they are going to decrease the player counts and rank to like 120 or something to maybe make it more competitive in their minds, maybe slower, like what we've seen in World Series of Warzone where you play for placement. I honestly think ranked will not feel any different than playing pubs at all, since skill-based matchmaking already exists, you know? It will feel exactly the same from our side. We'll just finally get that little rank next to our name, which is what we've been asking for 3 years again, yeah. But I just know the ranking system is not going to work very well in terms of who it matches you up against, because it doesn't even work well with 8 people in a lobby in ranked multiplayer. How the fuck are they going to figure that out with 150 people? It's going to be all over the place.
Yeah,
and then it's not going to be a competitive ranked mode because I'm playing. So what is Apex rank? It's like 60 players or something, right? 40 players.
I think it's 40.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's easier to find 40 people than 150. I want to say it's like 60. I think it's 60.
Divisible by 3, so it's probably 60. Yeah, I think it's 60. It's less than Warzone either way.
There's going to be players in my ranked lobby that are bronze. Let's say I'm diamond or something. There will be players in my ranked lobby that are bronze, and there will be players that are like iridescent, all in one ranked lobby, I think, because of the amount of players and the smaller player counts that we're seeing right now. It's right away strikes me as it's not going to be a very competitive mode because of, there's just not enough people playing the game to fill 150 people queuing for ranked at the same time in your region.
Yeah, something you said about ranked multiplayer when we were doing episodes on that, I think it's going to carry over, and you kind of said it again here, is going to carry over exactly to Warzone ranked, which is like, because SBMM exists, when I play ranked multiplayer, the caliber of the enemy team is exactly the same as if I was just playing unranked multiplayer. So like the kids I'm playing against in fucking gun game are just as good as the kids I'm playing against in any ranked mode because SBMM exists. I think the exact same thing is going to be the case for Warzone.
Yeah.
However, the thing is, even though I can play unranked hardpoint and then ranked hardpoint, and the enemy team is just as good either way. The difference is, in ranked, even though they're just as good, they're playing way fucking differently. Just like I'm playing way differently.
Yeah, you're trying harder.
Unranked. You're trying harder, and you're trying to win more, and you're playing like rattier, in general. And I think that's going to be the same exact thing in Warzone. I don't think the players I'm going to be playing against in Warzone are going to be any better or worse than the players I play against on Moz right now. I think they're going to be the exact same caliber of enemies, which is like the highest SBMM bracket. But that doesn't mean the games are going to feel or play the same as they do in unranked. They're going to be way fucking different, way rattier. Just like the multiplayer example. I think it's going to be exactly like that.
Yeah,
so then
rattier for sure. Good way to put it.
Yeah. So then, on the rank thing, again, like, I agree with you for sure. If you're an iridescent player, like, I don't think the player base is going to be big enough to where you can have a lobby full of 150 iridescent players on Al Mazrah.
Possible. Yeah.
I literally don't think it's possible, because it's not that you would need so many people to be playing your game for that to be possible. Because when you guys think about like, oh, but there's a lot of iridescent players. Yeah. Are they all online right now? And are they all queuing at the same time?
Yep.
And are they all close enough to each other to connect to the same server? No, there's no way. You would need actually like 10 million concurrent players to fill a lobby full of iridescent players, because they all have to be iridescent and within range of the same server and queuing at the same time. So that's like never going to happen for sure. So then you ask, how strict is the matchmaking going to be? I think it's going to be just as strict as pubs are, which is strict enough. I mean, my lobbies are definitely different than a 0.5 players Warzone lobbies. There are enough people to do SBMM, so it'll work the same way in ranked. But How will that translate to what everyone's rank symbol is in the lobby is a great question.
Yep. Think of the regions too, where people always complain about. So people always complain about servers that live in like Australia and that
for
area.
Example. Yeah.
I don't think they will even be able to play ranked. They probably won't have enough players searching at one time to even fill ranked half the time. Like, what server is it going to put you in? Because they have trouble playing pubs. You see people say that all the time on Twitter, that like they can't even find a Warzone Al-Mazrah match because it won't find enough players in their region searching at that time.
And it's a hard problem for Warzone too, because if if this happens in Australia, in multiplayer, where like there's barely any teams playing, and you're a 4-stack of iridescent players, and there's just no one close to your rank queuing at the same time as you. The way a good rank system would work is it would say, okay, we can't find a game against other iridescent players because they don't exist. They're not queuing right now. So we're just going to put you up against a 4-stack of gold players. And even though they're not your rank, this is still okay, because if you win, you're going to get very little rating. And if they lose, the gold players, they're going to lose very little rating.
Yeah.
Because the teams are so lopsided. But it still allows you to play. It still allows you to grind some rating. And it does allow for the gold players to get a fuck ton of rating if they win, and for you to lose a fuck ton of rating if you lose, because the gold team shouldn't win. That's why they're gold rank. That's how that would work. And that's fine. That's how a rank system should work. You should gain or lose elo depending on how much elo the person you're playing against has, or the team you're playing against has. That would be fun. And that's a way around the low player count issue you're talking about. However, you can't really do that in Warzone. Like, there are too many teams. And even if they lowered the player count to 80 players, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Like, if you're iridescent and every other team in the lobby is like gold and there's one platinum team, how does that score? And if there's like 5 iridescent teams, is it like you should lose more elo if the if the bronze team kills you versus the iridescent team, if you're an iridescent team also? How does that work? It's a lot harder to solve that problem, and I don't even know how you do it.
Yeah.
When it's not just 2 teams, you know? So I don't know what they're going to do.
What if it's only a Sheikah Island? Because it's easier because there's those flares. Imagine we don't even see Mazrah
I would be
ranked.
so fucking mad. It would surprise me a little bit if that happened. But Activision is so dumb that it wouldn't surprise me that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, how that's going to work. I wish I knew more about like Apex and how the ranked play system works there, but
even then, like you're saying, the Apex lobbies are less than half the size. I know that for sure.
Yes,
I want to say
sure.
it's not even more than 60 players.
I think the way Apex works though, because I've been watching my buddies playing Apex ranked, and basically how it works is like, okay, they're dog shit, so they're only platinum or some shit.
Like
so
bronze,
they queue,
I think, yeah.
So they queue for platinum, and as soon as they land into the game, it shows them how much rating they will earn if they died right there. So right when they drop out of the plane, it says on the UI like -50 RP ranking points, whatever. So if they died right there, they would lose 50 rating. Because you basically pay an entry fee in rating once you join the lobby. And then if another team dies somewhere else, it'll go to like -45 RP. So that means they'll lose less RP if they die at this point, because they are higher in the leaderboard since another team somewhere randomly got knocked out. And then if you get a kill, you get bonus RP. So maybe your team is the first team to get a kill. You'd go from -50 to like -35. because not only are you placing higher now, but you also got some kills.
Yeah.
And that also positively impacts you. And then eventually, like, you could be in third place and you haven't gotten a single kill, but because you're in third place, it says like +5 RP. Like,
is that how
cool.
it works? Okay. I didn't realize that's how it worked. That's cool.
So in that case, I think how it works is the number of the value of the RP deficit you have for entering the lobby depends on your ranking. So if you're a bronze player and you queue for a game of Apex, as soon as you drop out of the plane, you're at +0 RP. There's no entry fee. So if you die right there, like, you don't lose any rating, for example. But like, if you're, I guess bronze is 15 ranked points. Okay. So if you're bronze and you queue into a lobby, you pay 15 rank points. So as soon as you drop out of the plane, you're at -15 RP. If you die, you lost 15. That was your entry fee. But if you're, platinum, maybe you pay 30 ranked points. So now you have to overcome a greater deficit. I think that could be a way around the problem you were talking about, Tanner, where it's like, if you're iridescent and you have to basically pay 50 rating to play the game. And now you have to overcome a greater deficit before you can start earning.
So they'd
rating.
be 50, and then someone who's bronze would have to pay like 5 or some shit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I think that would be a way around having to balance a bunch of wildly different skill ratings in the same lobby. Maybe. I think that seems like a pretty good system, though. What do you think?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've never paid attention that much when they play Apex to see exactly how it works. Another thing to think about, though, Apex Ranked has been out, what, 3 or 4 years? We are just getting Warzone Ranked. Whatever system it comes out with, hey, breaking news, it's probably going to fucking suck. And it's probably going to take a lot of tweaking for a long time. It is. You have to imagine that, too. We're just getting the very first iteration of Ranked. Look at what Warzone 2 we just got. They're still fixing all the bugs 5 months later. So it's like the ranked system, how we get it on launch, will not be near perfect at all. It probably won't even be good, and it'll take a long ass time of them tweaking it constantly for it to be in the state that actually makes sense. But so that the RP thing that you're just talking about, that makes sense. I understand that. But the thing is, it's still not going to feel competitive when I've been playing the ranked for 3 months and I'm hard stuck bronze, and I'm still getting matched up against players that are platinum, diamond, every match probably, because there's just not enough players.
Because then you're still going to lose rating. It's just not going to be that much if you happen to see them first.
It just isn't going to feel competitive, I don't think. Like I say, the players you are facing in ranked Warzone will not feel any different than the players you are facing right now in skill-based matchmaking, because what you have right now is essentially, we have Warzone ranked. It's just not a public ranking system. It's just skill. We have Warzone skill-based matchmaking instead of Warzone ranked right now. So lobbies are going to feel the same in terms of how good the average players are, I think, compared to you. The other thing you had kind of said earlier about how it's going to be ratty, I feel like ranked, let's say there's ranked Al Mazrah quads, I bet it'll feel as ratty as if we were to load up right this second and play Al Mazrah duos. That's how quads will feel in ranked.
I agree.
So the players will be the same caliber, but they're more likely to play a lot safer and rattier. They're still going to outgun you like they would otherwise, but they'll probably play very slow. And I hope the way the system works is it favors kills and stuff a lot. Maybe even favors, I don't know, starting contracts and completing contracts, so it gets people moving more. Because if it's heavily placement based, then it's going to be boring as fuck. Not going to be fun to watch, won't be fun to play. Yeah. So I hope, the system does favor kills more than it otherwise would, so we don't get stuck with just awful matches that are slow.
I agree. And I think there are ways they could design the rating system to be both, because what you want for a ranked Warzone system is you want it to be the case that the best team in that lobby gains the most rating. And that sounds like obvious, but there are rating systems you could make where the best team in the lobby does not get the most rating.
Yeah.
So one such good example of a bad system would be placement is the only thing that matters. So Biffle, Booyah, and I don't know, these other Scuff sponsored streamers could get second place, and they got a combined kill and quads of 70, and they get 5 rating. And then the first place team with 3 kills total, because they got a lucky gas pull, gets 200 rating. That could be how they design the system. And that would be an example of a bad system, because none of us would say the team that got first place is the better team, because they really only won because of a lucky gas pull.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you want to have a system where in that hypothetical lobby, the second place team, even though they technically lost, they got so many more kills that they actually earn more rating. They demonstrated more Warzone skill, and therefore they were rewarded more. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want to reward good players playing well.
Yeah,
so
but
what that looks like, how does that work exactly? That's a great question. I don't know. I think the way that works, obviously, the way that looks, and the way I think they'll do it is placement will mean something, and kills will also mean something.
I have a feeling based off these devs, they will favor wins a lot, because
which I think they should.
Yeah, but if anything, I think they undervalue someone who gets a lot of kills maybe, and aren't as likely to give a team that got 30 kills but third place nearly as many points as they deserve versus a team that wins in quads and got 4 total kills. I feel like they, just
that
because
balance is hard to do.
Yeah, I understand that, and I don't really know how they do it.
I don't know either, because one thing I really liked is there was back when in Warzone 1, when there were a lot of custom private tournaments, they had a very cool scoring system for those where each kill was worth 1 point, and your placement added a modifier. So if you got last place, each kill is worth 1 point. If you got top 20, each kill was worth 1.1 points. So if you got first place, each kill was worth 2 points. So that would double the value of your kills. Yeah. That was a very, very cool system. I think that, though, if that's all you did, I think that would favor kills too much, because in theory, you could get first place and get 0 points, which I don't think is how a ranked mode should work. But I would like to see something very similar to that scoring system with a little bit extra pizzazz thrown in. So maybe maybe a multiplier system based on placement in addition to flat placement bonuses.
Yeah, are you sure that system didn't have that? Did maybe first place get a flat?
I'm sure some of them did and some of them didn't. I'm sure that's how it was. But yeah, there probably was a system where there was a flat. So you get 10 score, you get like 10 kills worth of points, plus you get a new modifier.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're right. I think it was just a modifier. It was World Series of Warzone in, I don't know, this article is from May of 21. But yeah, duos and trios. First place had a 2 times point multiplier. And then like second through 25th had a 1.5 times point multiplier. But yeah, it doesn't say anything about just base points.
Yeah, and I like that system better for the private like tournaments, the custom tournaments, because the reason you're doing those tournaments is to get eyeballs on your stream, to get advertiser revenue. And if you do a system like that, you are demanding that people go get kills, which makes for an exciting viewing experience.
Yeah, a lot better viewing experience. Yep,
so right. For what they were doing, that scoring system makes perfect sense. But for a ranked mode, you do want placement to matter, I think, irrespective of kills. But yeah, again, I think the best system that I can think of right now would be, you do that system, but you also get a flat point bonus for each of those steps. So like top 20, your multiplier goes to 1.1. In addition, you get 5 points. You get like 5 kills worth of points. And then, top 10, the multiplier goes up and you get a flat placement bonus in points as well. I think that would be a pretty good way to incentivize kills and placement, and in other words, reward the best players in the lobby for having the best performance. I think that would be a solid system.
Yeah.
Will they do it that way is an interesting question. And is that too complicated to code? Because keep in mind, World Series of Warzone, they had, real people doing the math. But are they going to be able to do it this way through a system? I mean, it seems like it would be possible for sure, right?
I would definitely imagine it's very possible, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's what I would like to see.
Think of all the hidden stats they have in MW2 ranked right now. Yeah, they can come up with anything they want. They just have to think of it and determine if it's a good idea or not.
What do you think will be the scoring system? Do you agree that would be best?
I think so. It's hard to think of what a good scoring system is without seeing the systems kind of work against each other and watch different tournaments with how it was. I remember that one specifically, that tournament people liked a lot because it was less ratty. And then they had other tournaments where they barely fought off rip. They just immediately all got in rooms, buildings, because of the way the placement system worked in that. It's like kills were like nothing. Kills were like a point, and then getting first place was like 30 points. Second place would be 20. Third would be 10 or 15, and down from there. And so it heavily favored it so much that even just going out and getting a ton of kills wasn't going to work. And especially because you're in a private lobby tournament, the average KD in that tournament is like a 4.5, so you're not going to kill race in it anyways.
Right.
I think some sort of system like that would work well with the multiplier based on your kills and then compared to how you place. But there does have to be just a flat amount of points per placement, you would imagine. But even then, it can't just be a flat amount, because if you're top 250 and somehow get in a lobby with 90% of players that are bronze or gold, should you get as many points even then for getting first place? Probably not, because it's a shit lobby, So there's a ton of variables that would come into play.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very hard. And another thing I'll say too is that no matter what we think would be a good system, or what Activision would think would be a good system, or what Activision does, it's not going to be a great system on day one. So even if they use our idea exactly, I think it will require tweaking. They're just not going to get it right on the first try. I think, and that's actually okay. If they did the system we're advocating for, and it turned out to too heavily favor things we wouldn't want it to favor, unskillful players or teams or play styles, I think that's to be expected, and that's okay. And we should give Activision some leeway to tweak, to fine-tune how exactly the scoring system is going to work. You're just never going to get it right on the first try.
No.
And you should expect it to change a lot in the beginning. And I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah.
What I won't be okay with is if the scoring system is only placement, for example, and then they want to tweak it from there. Because we already know that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So let's start with something we think might work.
Yeah.
And then tweak it. And it won't work, but at least let's get a good starting point. That's another thing too. Yeah. What else was I gonna say?
The other thing I just thought about this whole, this first iteration we get of ranked, whenever it comes in season 3, it's not coming at the launch of season 3, according to what most of the content creators think, and we aren't imagining. If it were coming, we're gonna have ranked in 12 days, and I just don't see that the case without them having started to kind of leak
people
things.
People think it is coming?
No, people creators? Don't. No. They don't think it's coming at the launch.
Yeah, I agree with them.
So what I'm saying is this will be like a beta, the first season of ranked, because whenever it starts, it's going to be probably about halfway through the season. So you're going to have a shortened season anyway. So it's probably just all going to be figure out how the ranking system and the multipliers are working for kills, wins, restrictions. And then going into season 4, we probably get a more solid copy of it.
Which is how they should do it, by the way.
And so that'll
be good.
That's kind of what I'm saying is Warzone Ranked is not going to be the saving grace of Warzone because it's not going to be good when it launches. They're going to have to make so many tweaks. As we just said too, there's something drastic they're going to forget, whether it's like nerfing a whole category of weapons and then in week 2 some guy figures out, oh shit, the way these lobbies are playing, using a Strela or a Joker is meta. And I can squad wipe with one rocket with it. Like there will be some massive oversight. So it's like, I don't think the system will even be in a decent state until going into season 4 at some point.
I agree for sure.
Yeah.
And we should, and that's going to be true. And I don't even think that's Activision's fault because it's hard. You can't like a priori like figure out how ranked Warzone should work. Like all the restrictions you're going to want, all the, vehicles you're going to want to take out, contracts you're going to want to remove, scoring system you're going to want. Yeah, they're just not going to get it right on the first try, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you on that topic. Here's another question. One thing ranked multiplayer doesn't have, which, much to my dismay, which we talked about on patreon.com/thedropshot, is there are no placement matches.
Yeah.
So for ranked multiplayer, if you've never played ranked multiplayer before, guess what? You're bronze 3.
Yeah, you can't start any higher. Yeah.
So there are no placement matches, which every ranked game I've ever played ever, I'm not kidding, online has had placement matches to determine where you should start. And you play against other players also doing placement matches. That's not how it works in multiplayer. You just start at bronze 3. I wonder if there will be placement matches for ranked Warzone. I can imagine there will be. I don't know why they would do that.
Probably
for
not.
Warzone and not for multiplayer.
Yeah,
that's going to be dumb.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I don't like about this system is if someone like Aiden starts the season halfway through because he was on vacation or his computer broke, he shouldn't start in bronze 3. He just shouldn't. He should start halfway up the ladder because they should see his placement matches. Holy shit, this guy dropped a nuke. Doesn't matter. He's still starting in bronze. It doesn't make any sense. I don't like how games do that rating system. Does Apex have placement matches? Do we know?
Yes.
Apex does have placement matches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can look it up. It almost certainly does because they have a rank system. Apex Legends placement matches ranked. Let's see. Yeah. There are placements.
So not everyone starts at the absolute lowest rank. If someone does really well, they won't start at that. And that's how Counter-Strike is. That's probably how Valorant is, I would imagine. Yeah, and that's how it should work. So of course it doesn't work like that in Call of Duty. Yeah, they don't have placement matches.
Yeah.
So will Warzone Ranked have placement matches? No. Should it? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, and
I just wanted to get that
out
of the way. Yeah. All right. So next little topic here. What do we need ranked Warzone to be like from a viewer, spectator perspective? So obviously, we've needed ranked Warzone for many reasons. One of them, as players, was to have something to grind for or some reason to play Warzone because, the game has been fun and not fun and at varying degrees for during various eras. But at the end of the day, no matter how fun Warzone was, there isn't anything to grind for. It's like I have my mastery camo, I have my nuke calling card. Now the only reason I'm going to play Warzone is like to have fun. And when Warzone is fun, that works. When it's mid, it doesn't. When it's terrible, it definitely doesn't, obviously. So we need ranked Warzone for that reason, to get us and other people to continue to play the game even after they have unlocked everything else. They've gotten the nuke skin and Warzone, whatever, all the shit you can get. Another reason Warzone has needed a ranked play system from the perspective of Activision especially, but also from the viewer perspective, is to get eyeballs on their game. Because as we're going to continue to talk about, you can go to Twitch right now, which is a very good benchmark the benchmark, I would say, for how many people are like watching Warzone content. And just look at their concurrent viewers for the category Warzone over the past, month. And then compare that to what Warzone once was, or any other current BR that's on the market right now. I think we got a little intel from chat that this morning, like at some point, whenever this guy looked, Chris, shout out to Chris, Tanner's shit brother-in-law. Apex had like 65,000 viewers on Twitch at that time he checked, and Warzone had like 12,000. So why is that important? Well, it's a no-brainer, first of all, for Activision to do ranked Warzone, because it's going to get more people watching your video game content, which is going to drive more sales. Obviously, if I'm watching a really exciting match of ranked Warzone, it's going to get me in the mood to play. It's also going to give me something to talk about with my friends who I used to play Warzone with, but I stopped because it got boring. It's going to get me to get my casual friends to like start playing the game, whatever. There are obvious reasons why these are good. In addition, you can sell ad spots on those events and get money from advertisers that way. And again, from a player perspective, the reason you should care about any of that is that the more people are watching Warzone means the more people that are playing Warzone means the more attention, development resources, time, and the bigger player count Warzone will have, which will make your experience as a player better. Because if you've ever played a dead game before, one thing you'll know about dead games is that they don't get attention. The devs don't update the game except every 6 months. They don't care if things are unbalanced. They don't care if the servers are laggy, etc. Because there's no incentive for the developer to fix the game. But if Warzone had 500 billion players right now, there aren't that many people alive, but if it did, that would really light a fire under the asses of the devs to fix all the problems quickly, because that's what's making them money. So it incentivizes them to fix it more, which is good for you as a player.
Yeah.
So with all of that said, what do we need ranked Warzone to look like from a viewer perspective? What do we need to make the tournaments that ranked Warzone will have that are sanctioned by Activision get a lot of eyeballs? What makes watching a ranked Warzone game exciting? Now, we talked about earlier, what tournaments did we see in the past before ranked Warzone? The private lobbies. And there were two very distinct scoring systems that resulted in very different lobbies. So one of them was the one we talked about that we liked, where each kill was worth a point, and the higher you placed, the more of a multiplier you would get. So each kill would become worth more than 1 point, 1.5, 2, whatever. And those were very fun and exciting to watch because there's a bunch of really good players going after kills, trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
And then we also saw the classic example, World Series of Warzone Solos tournament. Anyone remember that?
Riot shields.
Riot shields, stun grenades, and heartbeat sensors. It was actually worse than you think in terms of how ratty it was. If you haven't seen it, it was rattier than you think it would be. Because the only thing that mattered was placement. Everyone wanted first place for like the $50,000 check. And there was a clip that went around on Twitter when that tournament ended of the final, of like actually the 5th or 6th circle. This was on Verdansk, so guess what was in the circle? 1,800,000-story buildings. And it was some guy with a riot shield on his back, SMG cradled. He's got his heartbeat sensor out. It's 5th circle. It's 8 square feet. And his heartbeat is just, there are dots everywhere. Everyone's ratting. Everyone's camping.
Yeah.
And that was a notoriously unfun, unexciting viewing experience. So those are some examples of different things ranked Warzone could do to incentivize different play styles to make watching it fun. And obviously, you're going to get more eyeballs on the former tournament than the latter one.
Yeah.
But in terms of gameplay, too, there are some things that makes watching Warzone ranked more or less fun. For example, if the movement speed was reduced by 80%, then irrespective of the scoring system, that would be a lot less exciting to watch than if the movement speed was increased by 80%, for example.
Yeah.
So there are multiple things they could do to make watching ranked Warzone a better experience. You have any thoughts on this, Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, it just needs to have some excitement to it. There really are. There's not an interesting Warzone 2 clip out there. I don't know if I've seen one yet. All the Rebirth clips, of course, got so old in Warzone 1, and I got so sick of watching those because it was always the same thing every time. Some guy slide canceling past someone, stimming, shooting him in the back, throwing a throwing knife, running away while plating, another guy chasing him, slide cancels back out, shoots him a few times, downs him, throwing knives him. Don't get me wrong, they were skilled players, but there were thousands of those clips every day on TikTok. Right. The Warzone 2 clips, though, they have nothing. You can't get a clip of you getting like some crazy snipes.
I don't even see them on my TikTok.
No, because they're boring. I don't see any of them either. But what I've been seeing lately on Twitter is some guys that have been going back to play Warzone 1. Joe posted a clip of him getting a 1v4. That clip on Caldera was way more exciting than anything I've seen once on Warzone. Because it's just, there's some flashy things with it that he does, and this game has zero flash to it. And it needs something like that to make it exciting. To start with, obviously we need to get one-shot snipers back in Season 3.
Absolutely.
That would be a lot of fun for Ranked. That would lead to some fun, exciting clutch moments. It's like you're the last one alive. You're trying to get to a buy. You're hitting some crazy snipes on some people, hitting some shots you shouldn't be hitting. It's hype. It's exciting. Getting those one-shot downs. The game badly, badly needs that. In fact, this game actually needs a broken, overpowered sniper right now. We need a Car 98 or a Swiss right now in Warzone 2. Add some excitement to it, because holy shit, it's a snooze fest. You need anything. Something besides a Fennec that kills in 250 milliseconds up close like we had for months. So to start with, that's what we need to get. We need that core change to the game at the start of Season 3. We need a ton of weapon balancing. No, we don't need more health in the game necessarily. We need guns balanced up close. They're fine in general at medium range. They're definitely fine at long range. And we need one-shot snipers in some variation to come back, of course, not all of them. We need one-shot snipers, though, heavy snipers. That's all I'm going to run in Ranked if we get them. I don't care if it's the best gun or not.
Sure.
That's all I'll run. There will be a lot of actually strategy involved. If you're playing quads, how many teams should your snipers have? I mean, how many snipers should your team have? 1, 2? Should everyone be sniping? There will be a lot of strategy involved with that. But to start with, the game absolutely needs that for a Ranked mode. For the game to be exciting in general, but definitely that takes it to another level when it comes to something Ranked.
Think of how many clips you've seen and enjoyed of Warzone 1 of snipers.
It's every clip.
Dude, you can get a snipe really close to someone, like a quick scope, or like 5 in a row. That's exciting. You can get one on someone that's not moving, but they're 700 meters away. That's also exciting.
Yeah.
You can get one on a guy flying a helicopter. That's exciting. You can get a team wipe from 200 meters where they're also sniping. That's also exciting. None of those clips are possible in Warzone 2. Not one. And they're always interesting. If you tell me, hey, this guy got a 500-meter snipe, I'm never not watching it. I'm just never not pressing play. It's always interesting.
Exactly.
It's always interesting. Actually.
I just pulled up
one of my favorite clips from Warzone 1 in our Discord, in fact, is me just barking at kids with a sniper. And the only reason it's possible or interesting to watch is because you can one-shot snipe in that game. Yeah.
I know. It's exciting. I just opened up my old clips folder right now. I have like 15 saved clips. I think 12 of those 15 are all sniping clips because it's exciting. Sure, you can complain it was broken. It was annoying to get killed by, but it was fucking exciting as hell. And the game has none of that now. It's actually, you have none of those like wow factors that a game needs. They took away all of that from us.
In addition to balance too, like you do need some snipers to be able to one shot to change up the meta to balance the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you need snipers so that you need something to have an advantage at very long range. Because right now there's actually nothing you can do.
No.
Like if you see someone in Warzone 2, like you're out in the wide open on a steppe in Mongolia, and there's a team, you know, a kilometer, maybe let's say 500 meters away from you, you know, and you're both just looking at each other. There's no cover at anywhere. You guys just actually can't do anything to each other. The only play there is to go toward them or away from them. But no one's dying in this situation, you know, and that is a problem. If snipers can one shot down, then now we have a dynamic. How many snipers are there between these two teams? That's very interesting. We have something new and dynamic there going on.
Yeah.
But also, in addition, we need it for viewing excitement. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Along with that, what everyone else has been talking about, and that's been rumored to be coming in season 3, movement. It's boring, it's sluggish, it's slow. The slide is useless. The dolphin dive sucks because the delay after it. We've said it all 100 times. The game needs changes to that. That, again, makes ranked way more fun. The clip Joe posted that I was talking about of Caldera, it was an exciting clip because he was like constantly moving and doing something, stimming, you know, sliding all around. Well, you know, he's fighting them. We don't need slide canceling like that coming back, but we need the slide to be usable, and we need faster movement speeds. I need to be able to bunny hop. Well, are we getting all of that back? Probably not.
There needs to be movement tech. Yeah.
There needs to, yeah. It's boring watching these clips because it's nothing. It's just some guy standing there shooting his gun, downing some people because you can't do anything else. You don't even have that close of fights anymore on Ashika Island. They're like mid-range fights.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, you know, like we've said quite a while ago, which I still stand by, that Warzone 2 does absolutely have a skill gap. It's just not the same skill gap we used to have. The skill gap like right now is like positioning, rotations, and recoil control at mid to long range with a full auto gun. Those are the skill gaps right now. Those are good skill gaps to have. They're important skill gaps to have, and I want to keep them. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there isn't a skill gap right now. But what we don't have is any movement skill gap in the game, period. And that's the most flashy, exciting skill gap to watch, is movement skill gap.
Yeah.
And if we like even only had bunny hopping like we did in beta, there would at least be some technique that one player could utilize better than another to widen the skill gap for very up close fights. But right now there's really nothing you can do up close.
Yeah.
If you either shoot first, or you have a better gun, or you get a lucky headshot. That's it. There's like no skill gap up close in Warzone 2. So I want to take what we have at mid-range, which is a skill gap, and add that to the close range gunfights. And how do you do that? Something with movement. I mean, it has to be something with movement. Whether that means b-hopping or a better slide or both, something needs to happen.
Shooting while sliding, better hip fire accuracy.
Right. And I agree with you. I don't want to see the same movement we had in Warzone 1. I don't want slide canceling to come back. Especially like the pre-nerf stim slide. That was too crazy. I wouldn't necessarily want that to come back either. Although I wouldn't hate it. I'd have to think about that more. But that would certainly be better than no movement at all. But there are things they could do to create a skill gap for up close gunfights. And that would also have the benefit of making up close gunfights interesting to watch. Because right now it's not. It's actually not. There's no skill gap. There's quite literally none. I'm not even kidding. If two players are on PEDs, there's quite literally no skill gap.
Yeah. It's whoever overclocked their scuff. They're going to win that gunfight.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually like whoever saw the other person first or whoever shot first. So like the skill gap is reaction time, which is something, I guess. But
whoever has their controller plugged into their USB 3.0 port on their PC instead of their 2.0, that's who wins.
Right, yeah. Whoever has the better serial bus.
Yeah, it's boring. There's nothing interesting about it at all. It's trash. It's garbage.
Yeah, so from both a viewer and a player perspective, not having movement tech is bad.
Yes.
Because there's no skill gap, which is annoying as a player. And it's also really boring to watch up close gunfights in Warzone 2 because there's
especially
anything.
If we go into this season 3 and don't have enough weapon balance changes and the time to kill is really fast up close. That's again super unexciting. Not fun to watch from a viewer perspective. Not fun to play at all. Yeah. So we just, we don't need slide canceling, resetting tax sprint. I don't want to slide all the time. I just want you. Alleviate that by giving faster movement speeds and get rid of all of the things they did in the beta where it's like when you jump, your ADS time is way slower. You could double bunny hop. You could triple bunny hop, I think, early on. They got that. So as soon as you hit the ground. So I've seen people say that on other people's videos and stuff like, what are you talking about? You can bunny hop in this game. No, you don't understand. You can jump. Sure, there's a jump button. As soon as you hit the ground, it's like inertia, basically, and it's like you can't move as well.
You can bunny hop.
Well, you can jump. Yeah. You can jump once. That's what people think it is. But when you say that, when you're talking about bunny hopping, you're talking about you jump around a corner, you start shooting at someone, you ADS midair or something, start shooting, you're a pre-ADS. You hit the ground. As soon as you hit the ground, you jump again, so then you pop up one more time. That's what bunny hopping is. Yes, there's a jump button in this game. It's heavily nerfed compared to how, even Vanguard, you could triple bunny hop. That's like how COD always has been. You've always been able to bunny hop like that. Again, Joe Seacott decided he didn't want it in this game. They removed it this year. Fuck the Infinity Ward developers. Fuck you. Bad. Fuck you.
For sure. And never said a word about it.
Yeah, they just took all that shit away in the beta after they saw people having fun. They're like, oh, you know what? Next weekend, let's remove all of that.
Early access campaign when the beta was over and the jump was dog shit and there was no bunny hop anymore.
There was something,
And we were like, oh, well, it's probably just a campaign thing. God, I wish we were right.
Yeah.
But we weren't. We were fucking wrong.
There was something else drastic that I noticed right away, and I was like, this feels wrong. I hope it's just like the campaign is buggy or the campaign is different. And sure enough, it's because they nerfed it from one beta to the launch. So,
yeah.
That was really fun. Yeah, the game just needs excitement, which is lacking right now. It's just the clips all look the same, and games that have higher skill gaps in general it's more exciting for people to watch as well. Because, you watch competitive Valorant, Counter-Strike. I've never watched competitive Apex, so I'm sure it's similar to this too. It's like, it looks a lot different than a pub match. You watch some guy live on Twitch right now with 0 viewers that has a 1 KD, and you watch me stream Warzone. My Warzone 2 KD is higher than it should be. It's like 3.6 or something. My gameplay is going to look almost the same as that guy's. It's not going to be that much different. So, to see no difference in watching high-skilled players, it's, again, as we've said plenty of times, it's just boring to watch. You need a massive difference. You need some sort of skill gap there, because even casuals enjoy watching that. They pretend they don't. They're like, oh, this guy's just slide canceling everywhere. You can slide cancel, blah, blah. They're not good players, though, and they find it interesting watching those things because they know they can't do it. It's like, I'm not going to watch on TV some guys playing football that are as good as me. You're watching the NFL because they're the best in the world. And it's the same when it comes to watching video games. You want to see people that are good and skilled doing flashy shit that you can't do, and that's what it needs. And that's how true competitive games are. You notice the difference right away. Go load up Counter-Strike right now. Shoot your gun. Try to control recoil. Go watch a tournament happen. Look how they're controlling recoil and how much better they are than you. There's skill gaps and things like that, and we just severely lacking that.
Yeah, there's a reason if you go on YouTube right now and you look up Steph Curry compilation, that those videos have 800 million views or something.
Yeah,
it's because he's doing shit that's fucking hard to do, and it's obvious that there's a high skill gap when he shoots a 3 from 45 feet. And the fucking ball hits the ceiling and then bounces off of it and goes into the rim. I think you fucking nailed it. High skill games where there are big skill gaps are very exciting to watch. 100% true.
Yeah.
And the problem also with Warzone 2, again, there is a skill gap, but the ways in which there is a skill gap, none of those are exciting to watch. Like, again, what are the skill gaps? Knowing rotations, having good positioning, having good mid-range recoil, taking smart gunfights. Literally none of those things. Those are important, and I like that those are skill gaps, but none of those are interesting to watch.
No.
Oh, wow. Look at how Iron rotated up the hill and took the roof of this building.
Yeah.
That's not interesting to watch. It is interesting to watch for certain players who are into that, you know, but it's not interesting to watch in the same way that the movement tech skill gap is interesting to watch on Rebirth Island.
Yeah.
There's a different thing that you're appreciating there. And all the skill gaps we have in Warzone 2 right now are not interesting to watch by and large. They're just not.
No.
That's not.
That's what it is. It's the flashiness that was exciting about Warzone 1, not directly like a skill gap. It was seeing flashy moves
both,
sliding back.
Sure, but yeah.
It feels good doing that stuff. And yeah, it's like it's just flashy. Whether or not it's a skill gap or not, it's something exciting to see. That's not just, Iron rotating on a ridge. Because it's like, sure, there is a skill gap there, but you're not directly seeing it like you were when you're seeing some guy stem slide all around and destroy a 1v4 because it's not flashy.
Yeah. It's not as obvious as watching FaZe Neo hit 4 fucking quick scopes at 2 meters in Grandma's house in Rebirth Island.
Yeah. Like, hey, watch him do that now with an SPR. How fun would those clips be? He has to fire 15 bullets to get 4 downs compared to 4 in Warzone 1.
Every time I've watched him, he's not sniping.
Yeah, he must want to end it all. That poor
imagine taking the sniper away from FaZe Neo. It's just criminal. It's criminal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, when you see him do that, all these quick scopes and shit, that is flashy, and it's also very high skill. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying, just the skill gaps that are in the game right now, and some of them, like you said, are not obvious. Like, it's not obvious that this is like a really smart rotate or like a really like good idea, or he positioned himself to be able to get to that ridge 2 circles ago by choosing to go to this buy and get the Bertha instead of go to the buy that was close to him and only have the RV. Like, all of those little decisions that someone could make to rotate really well and to have a very high skill in terms of battle royale positioning and rotation and movement. Those are all very high skill and important and cool, but you could not even know that it happened. But when I watch FaZe Neo quickscope 3 people in a house, you could not play video games and be able to tell that was a high skill play.
Yeah. Exactly. You know? Yeah.
So, yeah. We want all of the skill gaps, in other words.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on to kind of what we were talking about. Yeah, even I'm looking right now. Let's see how many viewers Warzone has on Twitch right now. We have. So there is a CDL tournament going on, so that's higher than average right now. Warzone, 19,000 viewers on a Saturday.
On a Saturday afternoon.
Less than 5 months after the game launched. It has less viewers than a game called Crab Champions. It has less viewers 4 months post-wipe. Escape from Tarkov has 5,000 more viewers. It has less viewers than Tower Fantasy. Like, what the fuck is that? Among Us. It has less viewers.
No.
Do you remember when Warzone, like in Verdansk, was always usually #1 on Twitch in the video game genre, or it was always top 3?
Yeah, always.
Yep. Like, what the hell? Project Zomboid. 100,000 viewers. What is that? Yeah, I have no idea. Of course, Fortnite, Apex, both above 70,000. Warzone 2, below 20,000. 19,000.
Yeah.
And that's, by the way, Warzone is in, pretty sure that's if you are playing people would put Caldera on there too. Oh yeah, as soon as I click on it, the second girl is streaming Caldera. So yeah, that's Caldera as well, and a lot of people have been streaming that lately. So that's combined. That's right. Not even just Warzone 2. That's just people setting it to Warzone. Yep.
There's a lot of people playing Warzone 1 actually. Yeah.
Apparently, Breadman is streaming Caldera right now. Yeah, how many viewers does he have? Let's see if he's in the Warzone category. He's in the Warzone category. He has 1,500 viewers. So hey, he almost has 10% of the category, and he's playing Caldera. Yep. Because the game's not interesting to watch. It's not at all interesting to watch. That's also why you guys keep asking us, oh, why don't you stream gameplay? Why would I? It's fucking boring to watch. I wouldn't want to watch myself play. I don't want to play the game, period. Why would I also want to watch it, you know?
Right.
But yeah, so
one thing to keep in mind is that if nothing changed, but there was a ranked play mode, there would be more viewers on watching Warzone 2. There would be more players also. But how long would that trend continue? If ranked never got good, then not very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would argue the biggest reasons Apex and all these other BRs have more attention, viewership, player count is because they have a ranked mode and Warzone doesn't. That's the biggest reason why every other BR that's more popular than Warzone right now is more popular than Warzone.
It's not even just that, because I was looking at Solinome, even all of last year during Caldera, the Twitch averages compared to Warzone 2 in terms of viewers were like 10,000 higher even during Caldera and shit like that when the game was also boring.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, either way, the point is just that like just the existence of ranked is going to help this.
Yeah.
And like think about when I think of everyone I know who plays any other FPS game, Apex, Valorant, Fortnite, here and there, those people only play ranked.
Yep.
Everyone I know who plays Apex only plays ranked. Everyone I know who plays Valorant only plays ranked. And they wouldn't be playing the game if it didn't have ranked. So how many of those players exist for Warzone? Probably quite a few.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's no surprise. Not having ranked plus the game being in the state it's in now, yeah, that's a yikes. And that's why half the players are playing the old fucking game, for sure.
Yeah, and that's why Infinity Ward, Activision, they've missed the mark, is because they launched a game that was so full of bugs and so many people just stopped playing it. Like even some of like the little super sweats I used to follow, or I still follow on Twitter, that were always in like looking for fucking chows, any chows in Caldera, constantly playing wagers, tournaments. What are all of them doing, and what have they been doing for 3 months now? Apex ranked. Are those people coming back to Warzone 2 ranked when it drops? Fuck no. They're deep into Apex ranked now. They're not coming back. They don't give a shit anymore. They just want to play a fun competitive game, and their primary reason for leaving Warzone was because it wasn't fun to play. There was nothing flashy about it. There wasn't that skill gap that they wanted when it comes to movement tech. So they're all gone. If none of that changes and we just get ranked mode, none of those guys are coming back. They'll come back and stream it for a couple weeks and play it, and they'll be like, oh, never mind, I hate this game. I've been playing Apex for the last 4 months.
I'll go play
Game's way more fun.
Mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly.
Why would I play this shitty ranked mode when there's a better one out there and I've been on that game for months now? So that's why they've missed the mark and they're too little and too late. And it will make a difference in the player count. It will go up. How drastic, though? Not nearly as much as what we're thinking, because they've lost so many players at this point. So like Apex has had a lot of popularity lately. I took a screenshot of the Steam charts for Apex. Apex last 30 days on Steam alone, average players 260,000. Warzone 2 last 30 days, which is also Modern Warfare 2. Average players 86,000. Keep in mind, Apex is also on console. Plenty of people play it on console.
Yep.
Plenty of people also play Apex through EA. You don't have to launch it on Steam. So they have their own launcher, just like Warzone has its own launcher through Blizzard.
Yeah, so every variable is even.
Yeah, they're cross-platform, all of it. Apex, peak players 600,000 in the last month. Peak players on Warzone last month's 156 on Steam. 156,000. Far less than half. Those are very
good. Yeah. Those are good metrics too, because like you said, they both have a separate launcher and they both have console and crossplay. Mm-hmm. So it's a wash. You can't say, oh, well, MW has like crossplay or consoles. Well, so does Apex. It has everything. Yeah. In addition, This is counting both multiplayer and campaign and DMZ and raids and Warzone. Apex only is the BR.
It's only Apex.
And it still has more numbers. So that's pretty shocking. Yeah,
and
that's pretty crazy.
It's interesting, too, because on the Steam chart, you can see when a pretty much direct comparison to when people stopped playing Warzone, too, when they realized they didn't like it. Apex was at their lowest of like 170,000 average players in December.
Funny.
By January and February, it was up 30,000 players on average, and then an extra 60,000 players on average. And those are the 2 months when a lot of people stopped playing Warzone 2, January and February.
Wow.
And then they're at their higher than average players. Warzone continuing to trend down, lower than ever. It's just not exciting to watch. I don't watch Apex. I don't care about it. But it goes to show you people do like that shit because it can be flashy. There's more of a skill gap. It has a movement tech with, you can grapple, do all sorts of shit like that. And what do we have? You're stuck in the mud walking around with an SMG that kills in 400 milliseconds against some guy on a Cronus or a Scuff. What's the difference? It's just drastically different games.
Yeah. So one thing some silver lining I'd like to add here is that, like Tanner said, if Warzone 2 ranked comes out and it's dog shit and they don't immediately give it some tender love and care, the player count that it will receive from releasing ranked will completely dwindle and it'll go back to exactly the same as before ranked came out. However, if ranked Warzone comes out and they constantly iterate on it and develop it and build it and make good, smart changes to how ranked functions, I think Warzone can have a gigantic comeback and be bigger than Apex and bigger than any other BR if the ranked system is done very well. And that will also mean a lot of core gameplay changes that contribute to a good ranked system. It's possible, and if they do, in conjunction with having a scoring system that makes sense, have decent servers and a decent, ranked play scoring system, structure, all that, server updates, and in addition to that, they make further changes, like they allow people to bunny hop again, or they allow one-shot snipers and balance them well, or they allow for shooting while sliding, etc. Or they change the multipliers on guns so up-close gunfights are not a coin flip where someone dies in 30 milliseconds. If they do that, Warzone would be more popular than any other BR on Earth right now. Maybe not Fortnite or something, but it would be like one of the most popular BRs, and it is absolutely not right now. It is possible for Warzone to be saved. Call of Duty is such a popular IP. It's such a beloved IP. And all they need to do is just make a good game that behaves well in a scoring system that makes sense. And they could see a new golden age, actually, a comeback. But what are the odds we get that? And how long would it take? Those are the questions.
And I think
it's possible, but I don't know.
I don't think that just happens this year, though. In this time of the year we're in. I don't think if it were to make a drastic comeback, something else big has to come alongside it, and that wouldn't be until we get like COD 2023, when there's still Warzone. COD 2023, whatever it is, will still be on Warzone. If that game has new, totally different guns and all that shit, those will all probably be put into Warzone 2, etc. It needs something like that to revitalize it, I think. And them just dropping a ranked mode and fixing some of the movement in the middle of the year is not going to do that for them. They need something else drastic on top of it, I think, to make it really solid again, to get people to actually come back.
You might be right. Yeah, maybe I'm a little over optimistic, but either way, there's a very good chance that Warzone gets a lot better when Ranked comes out, because again, I'm hoping that once Ranked comes out, that lights a fire under the devs to more quickly address actually important issues that the player base, even unranked players, will benefit greatly from. Because right now that incentive really isn't there. But if there's a ranked mode and they start doing Activision sanctioned tournaments where the ad revenue they get from sponsors is contingent on how many viewers they get, which would in turn be contingent on how fun the game is and how well balanced the game is, then that would be a direct monetary incentive for the devs to make a game that has a good skill gap and functions well, which doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited for Ranked Warzone to come out. And even if you don't play Ranked, don't intend on playing Ranked, you're just a casual Warzone player, this is good for you too, because worst case scenario, they don't change anything.
Yeah, that's true. It stays the same for you.
Exactly. And the existence of Ranked Warzone is never going to make unranked Warzone worse. That's not going to happen.
Yep.
Worst case scenario is it's just this exact same shit. Yeah.
So earlier I was saying there's going to be some like massive oversight when it comes to ranked play something's going to ruin it. No, what it will be is probably things that are outside of the direct ranked mode itself. Game crashes and server instability. That's what it's going to be. Imagine Tim streaming ranked to 60,000 viewers feature live, and his game crashes and he loses elo because there's no reconnect feature. That looks so fucking bad for your game. Know what has had a reconnect feature since 2020? Apex Legends. And it has a ranked mode. So unless we're getting that, and they've made it clear, it seems to never be coming. There's no indication that we're getting it. Something like that will be the death of Ranked Warzone, because we've seen how buggy this game is. How many times have you crashed? Well, since you've been playing Warzone when it came out, there's just so many little issues like that. Yeah, a lot. You keep losing elo for that. I mean, that happens right now in multiplayer. But imagine a BR when you have like a 25-minute match, you're top 10, and you dev error. And you lose all of that shit you just gained, and you can't reconnect. That sucks. Yeah. And something like that would really ruin the mode for a lot of people that grind it often. And then all of their viewers watching this, you're like, holy shit, I guess I won't even get into ranked. I've been watching Tim all day today play ranked, and he's crashed 4 times and lost more elo in those 4 games than he can gain in 10, So we'll probably see lots of issues like that too, because
on the upside, the existence of a ranked mode will be the most pressure Activision will have to actually add a reconnect feature than they've ever had.
Yeah. So, what's the reasoning? Why don't we have that? Apex is cross-platform, all of that. Well, how come they have it and we don't? Again, AAA studio. What does that mean? Call of Duty just has to have the worst developers in the world or something. I can't figure it out. Of course. We don't have basic features in a massive AAA title that other much, much, much smaller games have had for years.
Update requires restart.
Yeah, hey, thanks for automatically restarting my game now. How about automatically just launching it and it working without telling me that it has to be restarted? Why?
Yeah, it's completely insane.
It's insane.
For sure.
I hate the devs.
Yep.
And then, moving on. So they're going to have to compete with Apex Ranked that a lot of people have swapped over to and been playing. Fortnite, again, gaining a ton of popularity with their new creative mode, which I haven't looked into too much, but Fortnite no build. I don't know if Fortnite first person is already in, but that had a lot of talk around it. I'm not sure if that came out or not. I'd be surprised if it did, because it must have flopped if so, because I haven't been hearing anything about it. So it may still be coming.
By the way,
yes.
In Fortnite is... There's a creative mode and there's a first-person mode. If you really like Fortnite, guess what you can do?
Fucking anything
you want. Not play either of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But with Warzone 2, they just ruined the core game mode, and I can't go to like a traditional experience. That's how you innovate. You release something separately. If people like it, maybe you integrate it. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so they're going to have Apex Ranked to compete with. They have all of the Fortnite shit that they're doing, and this isn't as in line with Call of Duty, but Counter-Strike 2 is going to be coming out at 8 point, which is a very heavy ranked mode. Valorant as well, one of them.
The most popular ranked game ever.
Those two don't matter for players on console or controller players that play on PC. But for PC K-Band players, know what I'm definitely excited for? Checking out Counter-Strike 2 when I finally can. I was saying this in the pre-show. I reinstalled CSGO yesterday and was just playing deathmatch and stuff for an hour, trying to get back into it, get the feel for the game, get the feel for the guns. And those games are heavy into ranked. That's all people play it for. That is the mode. And what did Counter-Strike do? They took their game, Counter-Strike Go, they're transferring everyone's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of skins to the next game. That COD could have easily done if they wanted to. I guess it doesn't matter. You don't have the same guns, but they could have transferred operators and shit. And all they did was, in their eyes, build on the competitive game that they've built. Better servers, higher tick rate servers than ever. They made small changes here and there, small balance changes. They made the game look better, and it's going to be more popular than it's been since 2015. And they did almost nothing. Because they have a good base for a competitive game, and it's been there for years, and that's what people play it for. And we're just now getting the beginning stage of Warzone Ranked in 2023, and the game is, again, less popular than it's ever been, I think.
You know what Counter-Strike 2 needs, though? I think it's going to flop, and here's why. Counter-Strike 2, like, yeah, they're doing all this cool shit. They're innovating. They're not innovating very much, but they're, like, updating the graphics. They're, updating how smokes work a little bit. They are transferring everything, which is very cool, but I think Counter-Strike 2 is going to flop because what has the Counter-Strike Go community been asking for 7 years? Artificial intelligence in their ranked matches.
Yeah, fighting against AI. Yeah, so
there's no strongholds.
Yeah,
I mean, how absurd!
I was wondering
is
where you were
Activision?
going with that. I thought you were actually going to say something. Yeah, they're gonna.
It's
going to be 5 versus 5 players, but each team will actually have 6 total players, and one of them will be AI. Yeah, AI in Counter-Strike 2.
Yeah, like, can you imagine how insane it would be if Counter-Strike 2 added fucking AI?
Yeah.
Everyone would lose their minds.
And look at the Call of Duty community doesn't like innovation. They've been playing a reskinned version of the same game since 2005, and then with Warzone we get this shit like AI in it. Whenever no one ever asked for that. No, hey, I will guarantee you, no doubt in my mind, not a single person on Earth, how many billions of people are there on Earth, ever thought once in their life during Warzone 2 or Warzone 1, this would have been a little bit better if there were AI on the map. Literally, that was not a thought in anyone's mind ever, other than some lead at Infinity Ward have that idea. Where do they come up with this shit?
Yeah.
Where do they come up with this shit? Know what the guys in charge of Fortnite are thinking? Let's create an Unreal Engine creative mode so players can do what? Whatever the fuck they want. Anything they want. Let's make a no build mode because players have gotten too sweaty and it's hard for people to compete with these kids that have been playing tournaments for the last 4 years on the game. Outbuilding someone, they're building an absolute mansion in a number of seconds when some guy can't figure out the button to build a wall in front of him. What do? They make a no-build mode. What do we get in Warzone 2? Backwards. We don't even have the same UI features. No, we do have all the same bugs, all the same crashes we've always had, the same awful shadow ban system, and the same clueless, delusional, awful dogshit developers that have been here. They just get worse and worse. Every other game continues to get better. They innovate. They build off what made their game popular. That's why Counter-Strike is not that much different than the last one. They don't need to change anything. Counter-Strike is a grandfathered first-person shooter on PC. That is, when did Counter-Strike first come out? I mean, 98?
Oh,
Counter-Strike.
Long time ago.
2000. November 9th, 2000, Counter-Strike released. You can go back and watch that. It's the same guns. It's the same looking AK-47 model. There's no attachments. It's the same M4. There's no attachments on it. All they've done is updated the graphics. Some of the same maps they've literally had since the year 2000 are still there. They put new renders on them and make them look better.
Yeah, they build on what works and what made their game popular.
Warzone goes from what made their game popular to the exact and complete and total opposite. Just
Let's take away loadouts from people. Let's make them harder to get.
Can you believe that?
So
and
crazy.
These people, not only do they have a job, they are leads at a development studio working on this game. It's not some random dipshit dev. It's some guy in charge of the whole studio having ideas like that. That's how you know we're in trouble. But again, what's going to happen to those guys? Josie got Pat Kelly? Nothing, because they made Activision literally more money than ever based on sales. They don't care. They've made billions of dollars from the launch of the game.
They're going to get on Bobby Kotick's jet to Little St. James. They're going to, lament the loss of their dear friend, and then they're going to get their Christmas bonuses for $500,000 or whatever the fuck it was, and some extra stock options, and then they're gonna do it all, rape and pillage this IP again next year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully ranked Warzone's good.
Yeah, surely Copium. Yeah, it'll be great.
Surely. So again, if there was ever pressure to fix their game, it will be at its height once they release a ranked mode. That is the silver lining. I am legitimately completely agnostic as to whether or not that increased pressure to improve the game will translate to anything. I don't know. I hope it will. It's possible. If there was ever a chance Warzone 2 was going to get a lot better quickly, it would be once ranked comes out. So we'll see. And we'll keep you guys posted as always. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts. As I said, if we do get more details on how exactly ranked Warzone will function in terms of scoring, restrictions, placement matches that may or may not exist, all of that, we will do another episode before ranked comes out on how you guys should prepare based on the information we get. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We certainly will be. And as always, we'll keep you posted on any other news and anything like that. If you wanted to find our schedule, Twitter at the Dropshot Pod, or join the fucking Discord, or subscribe to us on YouTube. All of these things are free. We post our schedules on all of these platforms for the live streams every Monday afternoon. And if you wanted extra content, extra bonus eps, if you wanted early access, if you wanted ad-free episodes of all of our episodes, patreon.com/thedropshot. Every single tier gets all of those things. We do up to 5 bonus episodes a month. We do monthly hangouts and more. So if you wanted extra stuff, no ads, or if you just wanted to support the show, patreon.com/thedropshot. That is it. Thank you for watching and listening. Stay humble.
Fuck Infinity Ward and stay humble.